Welcome back to Modern Homestead Alaska as part of the Every Bit Counts Challenge. It is Friday the 11th and I am already going on these beets, so join me today. Welcome to our vlog. We are the Milnes family. We started building a modern homestead outside of Wasilla, Alaska in the summer of 2021. That's my husband, Aaron. I am Jessica, a stay-at-home wife and mom. Our second son, Caleb, lives here with us, along with our daughter, Cody Ann, and the youngest of our family, Wyatt. We brought our two dogs, Tipper and Daisy, and got a new addition, the Alaska dog, Roberto. All right, like I said, I'm already going on the beets. Look at that. Okay, so you just boil the beets until like a little paring knife just goes in real easy. And these are still a little bit firm. And then these are the light pink ones over here. And they need a few more minutes as well. So, let me talk to you about how we're going to process the beets. So you need a book like this if you're getting into canning. There's other books similar, but it's just a basic step-by-step. So I am going to hot pack or pressure can the light pink and the orangish yellow beets, these. And then for the traditional deep red beets, I am going to pickle those, which means I can hot water bath. The reason we are going to have to pressure can the other beets is because I'm not using any vinegar, I'm not using any sugar, it's not a jam, it's not a jelly. When it's not one of those things, you need to pressure can it. And then because the pickled beets get the vinegar and the spices and all of those things in it, the pickled beet can be hot water bathed. So we're going to use both methods of canning or preserving as far as jars go with our beets today. So I'm going to show you that. You just boil the beets long enough that the skin just falls off, and then I boil the tops and the bases just a little longer to get some more good vitamins and nutrients out of them before we make the jelly. I think these are called candy striped beets, but I'm not quite sure. If you know what they are called, would you go ahead and leave that in the comment section below? Okay, I have my beautiful colored beets, and for each one, we're doing half a teaspoon of sea salt. And we're following Ball's instructions here of preserving canning vegetables, low acid, and then we're following Beet's instructions. So they're going to be hot packed, pack into hot jars as directed in step 3. Loading them with fresh boiling water, so I've filtered water here, and then 30 minutes for a quart. 30 minutes for a pint, 35 minutes for quarts. So we're going to do 30 minutes. And we are going to pack these with hot water. Okay, we're gonna talk about the beet juice jelly. We're trying again. This is the yellow ones. There's some hue of yellow in there, so that should be good. We're gonna do that one. I ran the juice through a strainer with a cheesecloth. I wanted to talk to you about this one, those candy striped ones. The water is almost black and it doesn't smell super like beets like the other ones. And there was so much sand in the bottom And I'm not going to use this. I know, waste that walnut. I'm not gonna use this one. So I'm gonna use the red beets. I'm gonna use the yellowish orange ones and make 2 jellies. But we're doing it different this time, so this is what I'm doing. All right, well, I get everything ready. The hot water bather is, so I have 4 cups of juice and 2 packs of lemon Jello. So we're going to put these in, bring it to a boil, and then just jar it. So we're not going to be doing sugar and pectin this time, okay? We're going to see if this does better at setting. The other one ended up like a syrup, which is fine, you know? Great, put it on pancakes and French toast and all those things in the morning, and it tastes delicious, but we would like to see if we can get it to set. Let me find a whisk. Funny story, Erin called me and told me to check my garden because the moose and her baby were at the end of the driveway this morning, and I went out there without the camera, and look, I filled my, so I've noticed on my tomato plants, if I pull them when they're like starting to turn, they don't rot, but a lot of them, we get so much rain out there that they can't handle it. So I just pop them up here and then we just keep eating them. So I got a whole handful of tomatoes. And then when they turn red, I'm gonna pop them in the, we're either gonna eat them or I'll pop them in the freezer and then we'll can some tomato sauce when all of my tomatoes are done. Got these little jalapenos, I'm gonna use those. All right, let me grab these jellies out. I'll be right back. Okay, if you remember, I taught you how to just brine. This is a, wow, Roberto. This is a 2% brine, meaning it's a quart of water and 1 tablespoon of a good sea salt. And we're gonna pack the jars. Again, you can do these however you like. So we like our stuff spicy. You might not. You would just leave the jalapenos out. And there, remember, is no vinegar in these brines that I leave out for 5 to 7 days. I got that fresh garlic at the farmer's market, and it's so fresh that I just left the skin on and cut them in half to expose the centers. And then this is some pickling spices, and then you just stuff it. I got these like gherkin size pickles at the U-Pick farmer's market, which is perfect, and I'm hoping because I can leave them whole that they will actually stay crisper for longer. So I just pack them in and then I will top them with the brine. I just top everything with the brine and making sure that the little pickles are completely submerged, and then I use these weights to keep them held down. They go on the countertop, at room temperature for about 5 days. So I've been sharing with you guys some recipes out of this vintage 1950s encyclopedia cookbook. Go to my channel if you haven't seen recipes. So we've done cereals and some bread so far. And someone requested today that I make or show you how I make a rhubarb pie. Well, I was gonna make it quickly into a compo and I went, okay, fine, I'm gonna show you. And I wanted to share with you, I got my rhubarb pie recipe straight out of this book. About 20 years ago, I decided I was going to learn to make the perfect apple pie. And I turned to this book. I've had it that long, not this new one. One of the viewers got me this new one. So I turned to the book to learn how to make pies. Well, then my husband always requested a rhubarb pie. Well, I didn't grow up eating a rhubarb pie, so I went to my trusty cookbook and I found a rhubarb pie recipe. The best part about a rhubarb pie is that it's identical to an apple pie, a perfect apple pie, I might add. And the only difference is you increase the amount of rhubarb and you also increase the amount of sugar and the flour. So it's an exact same recipe, which is the pastry. Use whatever pastry recipe you have. Sugar, flour, cinnamon, salt, apples, we're gonna use rhubarb, lemon juice, and butter. That's all that goes into my rhubarb pie. We are going to use those fresh raspberries that I hand-picked yesterday at the U-Pick. And we're gonna add those to the rhubarb pie. But I don't substitute or change anything because raspberries have so much natural pectin in them that they're going to set up in the pie even without me adding anything additional. So the recipe calls for 3.5 to 4 cups of rhubarb. We'll see how much we have, and it's a deep dish pie dish that we're going to make the pie in. And so we may just increase the amount, but we'll do the math as we go along. So let's start making this pie. This is a vintage pie recipe. Okay, so I have 8 cups of rhubarb. I have these 2 little pints of raspberries that I picked yesterday. And then, so for the rhubarb pie, for every 4 cups of rhubarb, you are going to do 1¼ cups of sugar, 5 tablespoons of flour, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/8 teaspoon of salt, the juice of half of a lemon or a tablespoon, and then 2 tablespoons of butter. So here's how I'm going to do it. This is what makes life easy, is straight to the rhubarb. I do the lemon juice. And in this little bowl here, I have all of it. The sugar, the flour, the salt, the cinnamon. Move that to a big bowl. Let's get that all stirred together. This bowl might not be big enough. It's not, you don't worry, I have a giant bowl. Let's move to the giant bowl. I'm apparently just seeing how many dishes I can make in one pie. Okay, salt, sugar, flour, all of it, okay? Then the rhubarb and the lemon juice. And the raspberries. We don't worry about if the raspberries get smashed or any of that because they're gonna cook down so far anyway in the pie. And then we want to evenly coat everything. Now let that sit for a minute and we'll get out our pie crust. Okay, I did not mean pie crust, I meant pie pan. So we've got a glass pie pan and a piece of parchment. And the parchment we're gonna pretend is the crust. We're going to freeze this. Once it's frozen, we're gonna wrap it and then just keep it in the freezer. When it's time to make the pie, we're going to either get a store-bought or we are going to make our own pie crust. We're gonna roll it out, we're gonna put it in the pan, and we're just going to take this disc of pie filling and set it right in the pie crust. Top it with the butter, so I'm not gonna freeze mine with the butter on it. And then we are going to put the top crust on, and then we're going to bake our pie in a very hot oven. So for an apple pie, you want to do 425 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes. Same with the rhubarb pie. So we've let this sit for a couple of minutes as I got everything else ready. See how we're starting to turn all of that sugar and flour. And that's what we want to see. We don't want any big chunks of flour or sugar. Okay. So I'm going to divide this between the two pie pans. All right, as far as preps go, I am done for the day and I'm done early, 5:42. We leave here in 45 minutes for Wyatt's very first football game of the 22-23 school year. So we fermented 3 jars of pickles, got everything cleaned up. I got all of my dishes done, yay me. Okay, so all of this is jelly. These are all pickled beets. And then these I just pulled out of the pressure canner. Those are plain pressure canned beets. In the freezer is the 2 pies. Just kind of cover them up. And then when those are frozen solid, I'll put them in bags. We'll be able to make pie whenever we want it. So, thank you for joining me today. I hope you had a blast. Stick around, there's no telling. Oh, Aaron called me earlier and asked me if I wanted to go on a date with him tomorrow, and I said yes, immediately yes. And he said, I didn't even tell you where we're going. Okay, fine, where are we going? We are going to Whittier. Whittier is this little bitty town that's basically one building, and you go through the longest dual something. I'll have to look up the word tomorrow and I'll tell you about it when we go. But the train tracks run through the tunnel. It's only one lane. And then everyone drives through the tunnel. And so you hit the toll or the tunnel at certain times of the day to get across. He has to go there for work. So he asked me if I wanted to go with him. And then we're going to get on a boat and we're going to go and see the glacier. But of course we have to pass through Anchorage, do all of that tomorrow. So who knows what I'm going to do as far as every bit counts. But I will take you along for the ride nonetheless. So join me tomorrow. We're going to go see Whittier. And then on Sunday, I know that we are going to be smoking a brisket that I'm then going to package up so that we can have some later in the year when smoking isn't as easy. So that's what I have on the books. I gotta go get in the shower and get ready to go to my son's football game. I think that's it. Thank you for joining me today. If you haven't yet, please hit that subscribe button. When you ring the bell, you get notifications, thumbs up, comments, all of those things help our channel to grow. Again, if you're new around here, say hello and I will say hello back. It's nice to meet you and thank you for joining us. And then, yeah, I hope that you are blessed. I hope you have a beautiful, beautiful weekend with your family, some friends. Enjoy a walk or a good book or stroll, whatever it is. I hope that you find some peace in your life in this season of preparedness for the future. And tell me what you guys prepped. Tell me in the comment section, what did you do today for your family? Because tomorrow, what I may be doing for my family is just having time with my husband. And if that's the prep for our future, then that is a beautiful prep and probably the most beautiful of all of the preps I've done so far. He is my partner in everything. And this relationship matters not only to us, but our children and all those that know and love us. So join me tomorrow. We'll head out on a beautiful adventure here in Alaska. Talk to you soon. Starting QB of the state champion football team, Wyatt Milnes. That's our baby. I love. Caleb came home early from work. Cody's here. Aaron came home early. We're all here to watch the baby of the family play.